now that we've covered functions, I'm going to get into basic data structures. And before we talk about any other data structure, we're going to talk about the most fundamental data structure of Python. Lists. All right, and here we have a list. So a list is just a set of items within brackets, and we talked about lists a little in our data types video, right? So I can have an integer, I can have a string, I can have another list, I can have a boolean, right? I can have any data type within the list, right? And a list goes by index, for example, and we call each entry within these lists an element, right? So the first element would be 5, the second element would be string, the third element would be an empty list, and the fourth element would be this true boolean. And each of these elements reside in indexes. So the first element would reside. I know this is a little weird, but it would reside in the 0th index. So the first index of the list is 0, the second index is 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. All right. And so how we access items in a list is that we call the list 1, right? For in this case, list 1, and then in brackets we enter the index. So list 1, the 0th index has the integer 5, and if we print out our accessing of this first element, we would get 5, the element at the 0th index. So we can also change items in this similar fashion. We can say list 1, 0 is equal to 6. And now the 0th element is equal to 6. And if we print out list 1, 0, it will now print 6, right? So now we've understood accessing items in list and changing items in list. Now let's talk about appending items in list. So we have this list here, right? And appending something just means to add something to something's end, right? So we're just going to append this item to the list. We're going to go list 1 dot append. We use this is called a method in Python, and as you can see, it's built in, and we can just add anything we want here. So I'm just going to append another 5 integer, right? And then we're going to print out list 1, and as you can see, there will be a 5 at the end of this list. So now let's talk about removing items in lists. We have 3 methods of removing list items. We have the remove method, we have the pop method, and we have the delete method. Right? Generally, we don't use the delete method unless we want to delete the whole list. I'll show you the delete method first, actually. We can just delete list 1, right? And then print out list 1. And as you can see, it should print out an empty list. And as you can see in the console, it's printed out nothing. Or well, it hasn't. It's just going to take a while. When you delete list 1, it actually deletes the variable as well. So that would actually raise an error, but it deletes it, right? And we can also use the remove method to remove anything at any integer, right? We can remove it at remove any element within the list. We use the remove method, right? So I can remove 5, and then I can print list 1. Oh, and as you can see, it's printed out the list without the 5. And now we can also remove anything from the list using the pop method, right? And as you can see, the pop uses the index and the remove uses the element, right? But pop naturally, hold on, let me bring this down here. As you can see, the true was removed. So when we enter nothing into the pop, it removes the last element within the list, right? But if we wanted to remove, let's say, the empty list, right? So we'd go 0, 1, 2, right? And thus the index of that item is 2. So we can pop it using just entering the 2 integer as the index into the pop method, right? And as you can see, it has removed this, right? And now we're going to get into sorting lists. So run this again, so it's empty. And now we're going to sort this list, right? So here, this list actually cannot be sorted, right? Because it's all sorts of different data types. But we can sort this list by integer, right? So let's go 5, 3, 2, 1, right? And then when we sort this list, it's going to sort it by It's going to sort it in ascending order from, at least I think ascending order we're going to see. It's going to sort it ascending order from, yes, ascending order from 1 all the way to 5. And we can also reverse this by saying, hold on, sort, we can, I think it just reverse. Oh, well. Oh, it's like this. Sorry, it's reverse is equal to true, if I am not mistaken. Yes, and then it will reverse the the list items. And now we can also copy a list by saying list2 is equal to list1 dot copy, and we use these empty brackets to call that method, right? Oh, and then let's print out list2, and as you can see, it will be a copy of list1, right? And then we can also concatenate lists by adding them together. Well, concatenation literally means to add something together, so that the ending is the starting point of the other item that is concatenated, right? And we can also concatenate strings. I'm going to cover this a little more in depth hopefully later, but I'll just show you this really quickly with the string right now, right? I can have hello plus world, the string, and this, we call this string concatenation, and we just use this addition operator. And as you can see, it has concatenated hello and world. Case sensitively, we could add a space here and it would grammatically concatenate hello world. And we can do the same thing with lists, where I can do list1 plus list2, and it will concatenate these two lists. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sorry, 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 2, 1. And that is all we are going to cover today.